Republic of China, a banknote of $1 issued by the General Bank of Communication during the first year of the Republic of China. Note suspension incident in 1916, the Republican government in Beijing ordered the suspension of paper note our conversion to the silver with the banking of the mixed court. The Shanghai branch of the Bank of China successfully registered the order. The Bank of China by law were revised in 1917 to restrict government intervention. Golden age of the Chinese banking. The golden age Chinese banking, the decade from the North expedition to the Second Sino-Japanese War in 1937, has been described as a golden decade for China's modernization as well as for its banking industries. Modern Chinese banking extended to their businesses in scope, making syndicate industrial loans and offering the loans to rural areas. Takeover of the banking industries by the Kuomintang. Prior to the year 1935, the Republic of China had a limited free banking system throughout China. There were privately owned banks altogether. In reality, the largest Chinese-owned banking companies and basically all the foreign-owned banks that were operating in China were based in the city of Shanghai. Some Chinese provisional government had established their own provisional banks with the existence of since the late Qing dynasty period, but these local government banks had to maintain the same standard as privately owned banks in the order to compete on the financial market. Despite the various attempts by both the imperial Chinese and Republican Chinese government did not have a central bank that regulated the Chinese monetary system at the time. Instead, large network of the private-owned banks separate across the China had more influence over the Chinese currency system. During this era, copper was very commonly used for coinage, but silver was the primary medium of the exchange, and the whole economy of China was based on a de facto silver standard. The Chinese free banking system allowed to interaction of private banking operating in various regions of the China. Privately held banks during this period still operating like any other Chinese businesses and competed with one another to obtain the customer. Most Chinese private banks still issues their own banknotes, which were usually redeemable in silver banknotes from each bank until these reforms circulates freely with the banknotes from the other banks throughout the China. In the year of 1927, the Kuomintang took over the Chinese government and slowly started taking a step to replace the Chinese free banking system with a more centralized banking system. Instead of immediately seizing all private banks, they took slow steps aimed at gaining complete control over the Chinese currency by getting both the financial and political support of the largest bank in China. By making these dependent on the nationalist Chinese government, the final step in this process was to completely bring every bank in the China under the control of the influence of the Chinese government. The slow process of getting complete control over the Chinese banking system by the government started in 1927 when the leaders of the Communist Labor Union incited violent labor strikes in the city of the Shanghai. These strikes completely crippled the industries of the Shanghai. Shanghainese bankers appealed to the Kuomintang to stop the strike. Chiang Kai-shek saw these strikes as an opportunity to improve the financial standing of the new Chinese nationalist governments, and they created a deal where they would take down the strikes in the exchange for the bankers giving out the loans for the newly established governments. The banks of China calculated that the Communist Party's victory would be less beneficial for them than a Kuomintang victory, so they were eager to support the Kuomintang through issuing loans. However, the Chinese government appeared to be a financial black hole, and the heads of the China's largest banks began to suspect that the Chinese nationalist government wasn't able to pay back their debts. This was as the Chinese government continued to increase its debt without having any way of servicing it to those it owed. These led to some bankers to stop giving out more loans to the Chinese nationalist government, but as a response, the Chiang started treating these bankers to the same as the had of done his political adversaries, and they would imprison through confiscate their property on the ground that these bankers were being politically subversive. In the Chinese nationalist government, they had become the extremely dependent on the deficit financing, as the Kuomintang saw the introducing widespread taxation as a being political unattractive as well as the administrative nightmare to the implementing all over China's, meaning that they were extremely dependent on the receiving loans from private banks. Chiang Kai-shek saw that the deficit spending as the most expedient method for the financing the nationalist government in the year to 1927, which was the first year of the new nationalist government rule for the China's loans for the government, and they had taken from the private Chinese banks had accounted for as much as 49% of the total government revenue. In spring of the year 1928, Chinese Minister of the Finance TV Song had created a plan for the Chinese government to issue large quantities of the government securities in order to promote the purchasing and government securities. Song added high interest rates, and the government sold these securities with the large discounts. In the 1931, the Chinese nationalist government sold security at this around 50% of their face values by issuing these government bonds. The Chinese government was able to delay financial problems at least until these government bonds would come due to the in order to make sure that these securities were accepted by the skeptics, and the governments granted them every issues of the government bonds were backed by the some form of government revenue. These forms of including the Chinese customs taxes or salt taxes. The bonds were so designate that the bankers would be able to make more money from investigating in government bonds than they ever could make in investigating in private businesses. The nationalist government created the Central Bank of China in 1928 with the TV Song as its first president. The Bank of China was recognized as a bank specializing in the management of the foreign exchange, while the bank communication focused on developing industries. The Central Bank of China, when it was established, had its headquarters in the economically most influential city of the Shanghai, and the entire country was formally put on the Chinese silver dollar standard. The bureaucracy of financial supervision was set up under the Ministry of Finance to supervise financial affairs. At first, the Central Bank of the Republic of China was mostly just as extension of the treasury of the Republic of China, but during this period it already started issuing its own banknotes. The revenue of the Central Bank of the Republic of China were used to buy government security in order to create a deeper relationship with the private banking industries. TV Song established a board for the Central Bank of the Republic of China, which include the member of the director of the private banks of China, but in reality of the board had little to no actual decision making powers. By the years 1932, private Chinese banks which were located in the major city of the Shanghai held between the 50s and 80s outstanding government bonds, meaning that the bankers had become very much tied to the Chinese national government.